Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to tell you a story that looks simple on the surface, but if you listen carefully, it can quietly change the way you think about money, honesty, and the invisible balance of life. This is the story of a greedy milkman, an ordinary village, and a truth many people learn too late in life, that karma always comes back. In a small village surrounded by green fields and narrow dusty roads, there lived a milkman named Raghav. Every morning before the sun rose, Raghav would wake up, tie a cloth around his head, and walk toward his cowshed. To the villagers, he looked like a hard-working man. He owned several cows, supplied milk to almost every house, and his business had grown faster than anyone expected. People respected him, at least on the outside. They would greet him politely when he passed by, and some even admired his success. But what most of them didn't know was what truly lived inside Raghav's heart. Raghav loved money more than anything else. Not comfort, not peace, not even respect. Money was his obsession. Every coin mattered to him, and every opportunity to earn a little more, fair or unfair, excited him deeply. At first, Raghav's business was honest. He sold pure milk, customers trusted him, and life was simple. But as demand increased, so did his greed. One morning, while pouring milk into a container, a thought crossed his mind. What if I add just a little water? He whispered to himself. No one will notice. I'll earn more, and nothing bad will happen. That single thought changed everything. The next day, he added a small amount of water to the milk. The customers didn't complain. No one noticed. The money in his pocket increased. Instead of guilt, Raghav felt proud. He told himself he was smart, not greedy. Everyone does this, he thought. I'm just being practical. Slowly, little by little, the amount of water increased. The milk became thinner, but Raghav became richer. He built a bigger house, bought new clothes, and started looking down on others in the village. He began to believe he was smarter than everyone else. There was an old woman named Shanta who lived alone near the edge of the village. She was one of Raghav's regular customers. Every morning, she would wait patiently with her small steel pot, counting coins carefully before handing them to him. One day, as she tasted the milk, she frowned slightly. Son, she said gently, this milk feels different. It's thinner than before. Raghav smiled fake politeness. Mother, maybe your health is weak. My milk is the best in the village, he replied quickly. Shanta didn't argue. She simply nodded and walked back home. But her eyes held a quiet sadness, as if she already knew the truth. Raghav ignored moments like these. His greed had grown louder than his conscience. Soon, he started cheating everyone, rich and poor alike. Even families with small children trusted him blindly, unaware that they were paying for water instead of nutrition. Days turned into months. Raghav's wealth increased, but something else quietly grew alongside it, his arrogance. He stopped greeting people politely. He spoke harshly to customers. If anyone questioned the quality of milk, he would laugh and mock them. One evening, while counting money in his room, his wife Mira watched him silently. Mira was a simple woman with a kind heart. She had noticed the changes in her husband, not just in his behavior, but in his eyes. Raghav, she said softly, don't you feel afraid sometimes? Afraid of what? He replied without looking up. Afraid that what you are doing is wrong, she said. This money, it doesn't feel clean. Raghav laughed loudly. Clean money? Money is money. It feeds us, gives us comfort. Don't be foolish. Mira wanted to argue, but she knew his heart was closed. That night, she prayed quietly, hoping her husband would realize his mistakes before it was too late. As time passed, something strange began to happen. One by one, Raghav's cows started falling sick. At first, it was just one cow refusing to eat. Then another stopped giving milk. Soon, half of his cows looked weak and tired. Raghav was confused and angry. He called a local animal doctor, who examined the cows carefully. "These cows are malnourished," the doctor said seriously. "They need better care and pure water." Raghav felt irritated. "I give them everything," he snapped. "They should be producing more milk, not less." The doctor looked at him for a long moment and said, "Sometimes, what we give comes back to us in unexpected ways." Raghav ignored the comment. He thought it was nonsense. But deep inside, a small discomfort began to grow. Because of the sick cows, milk production dropped. Raghav's daily income decreased. To compensate, he added even more water to the milk. His greed pushed him to cheat harder instead of correcting his path. One morning, a young boy named Aman approached Raghav. Aman's father had been ill for weeks, and the family depended on milk for his strength. "Uncle," Aman said politely, "my father says the milk doesn't taste right anymore. Could you please give us better milk?" Raghav's face hardened. "If you don't like my milk, buy it from someone else," he said coldly. Aman walked away with tears in his eyes. Soon, whispers started spreading in the village. People talked quietly about the milk quality. Some stopped buying from Raghav. Others continued out of habit or fear of confrontation. The trust that once surrounded him slowly began to break. Then one day, something happened that shook Raghav deeply. His only son, Rohit, fell seriously ill. The boy was weak, feverish, and unable to eat properly. Meera stayed by his side day and night, worried and exhausted. Doctors were called, medicines were given, but Rohit's condition did not improve quickly. One evening, as Raghav sat beside his son, Rohit whispered faintly, "Papa. The milk, it hurts my stomach." Those words hit Raghav like a slap. For the first time, he felt fear, not the fear of losing money, but the fear of losing someone he loved. He looked at the glass of milk in his hand and suddenly felt disgusted. The same milk he had been selling to others had now reached his own child. That night, Raghav couldn't sleep. Memories flooded his mind, the old woman's quiet sadness, the boy's tears, his wife's worried eyes. A heavy realization settled in his chest. But still, his pride fought back. "This is just bad luck," he told himself. "It has nothing to do with my actions." Days passed. Rohit slowly recovered, but Raghav was not the same. His business continued to decline. More cows fell sick. Debt started piling up. The same villagers who once respected him now avoided his gaze. One morning, while walking through the market, Raghav overheard two men talking. "Karma always comes back," one said. "You can't cheat life forever." Raghav froze. Those words echoed in his mind again and again. That evening, he went to Shanta's house, the old woman who had once questioned his milk. She was sitting outside, feeding birds. "Mother," Raghav said quietly, "I have come to ask for forgiveness." Shanta looked at him calmly. "Forgiveness is not asked from words alone, son," she replied. "It is shown through actions." Her simple sentence felt heavier than any punishment. That night, Raghav made a decision. The next morning, he woke up early, cleaned his cowshed, arranged proper feed for his cows, and poured away all the mixed milk. For the first time in years, he sold pure milk, even though it meant earning less. People were suspicious at first. Some laughed. Some ignored him. But Raghav did not argue or defend himself. He accepted the loss silently. Days turned into weeks. Slowly, the cows began to recover. Milk production improved naturally. Trust returned slowly, like a wounded animal learning to walk again. Raghav started visiting houses he had cheated. He apologized without excuses. Some forgave him. Some didn't. He accepted both with humility. Life did not suddenly become perfect. Money was still tight. Comfort was limited. But something inside Raghav felt lighter. For the first time in years, he slept peacefully. One evening, Meera sat beside him and said softly, "You seem different now." Raghav smiled gently. "I finally understand," he replied. "Karma doesn't punish us to hurt us. It teaches us what we refuse to learn." Years later, Raghav was no longer the richest milkman in the area, but he was the most respected. His business was honest, his relationships genuine, and his heart at peace. And so, this story reminds us of something very important. You may think you are getting away with something today. You may believe no one is watching. But life keeps its own accounts. Every action, every intention, every shortcut leaves a mark. Karma may come quietly. It may come slowly. But it always comes back. If this story made you think, take a moment to reflect on your own choices. Sometimes, the smallest dishonest act can grow into the biggest regret. And sometimes, the bravest thing we can do is admit our mistakes and choose a better path. Thank you for listening. If you believe stories like this can change lives, don't forget to support the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.